I mean, for sure, getting started is my dad. Like, I don't remember a world where I wasn't wrestling. So from as long as I have memories, I've been on a mat. Um, and he was my coach throughout grade school, along with another actually fairly as legendary coach as an elementary school coach can have. Bill Winch was the coach at Vesper Elementary, and I think he coached there. It was like 45 years, something like really, really long. He was the coach, or maybe he was coaching wrestling and then coached at the grade school for like 20 some years. I know he's been involved in the sport for a very, very long time, and just recently retired, but he obviously played a huge role in my youth wrestling. But almost every kid has to go back to their parents as far as like getting them into the sport. I bet 90% of kids join through a parent, whether it be their dad or mom who participated before and gets them involved again. So mine was my dad.
Good deal. And right, what you touch on, wrestling is largely a hereditary sport in terms of how you get introduced to the sport. But talking about your youth club coach, for those that are familiar with Wisconsin wrestling, we're going to touch on Wisconsin Rapids in a bit, but I mean, who are some of those kids that came through the Vesper program that fed into the Wisconsin wrestling or Wisconsin Rapids program?
Well, so Jim and Jerry Hamill, I mean, they were very good wrestlers. Scott Brock, all four of my brothers. There was a lot of other guys on our team that came through the Vesper program that were part of our, we won 4 state titles when I was in high school. And a lot of the kids on those teams were from Vesper. But anybody who knows a lot about team wrestling is you don't always have the superstars to make a good team. So we had a lot of guys that were really good, qualifying for state, placing in the state tournament, maybe don't have the accolades of, say yourself, I think, what did you have, 3 titles or 2 titles or something, but they were still very, very good wrestlers and had a huge impact on our team. And most of that Vesper program, we were the dominant. There was 8 grade schools that fed our high school program, and most of the kids would come from Vesper. So it was a very well run program back when we were involved with it.
Cool. So obviously you just touched on some of the success that that is part of my next question. So in high school you wrestled for legendary coach Louis Bennett's, and you already said it, right? Your freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, every team you were on won the high school state tournament, high school state championship. What are some of your fondest memories of those 4 years of high school wrestling?
I mean, for sure being coached by Louis is one of the fondest memories. Like, I've never been coached by a better coach. I mean, he was, I think we won 12 state championships out of 13 years when either I was involved or my brothers were involved. And he was the coach the whole time. He had been coaching for a long time. I mean, he understood the idea of managing a program as a CEO, not just showing single legs and double legs. I think long before that became more and more people started understanding that. So, I mean, having him as a coach is something that not necessarily appreciated as much back then, but looking back on it, we were really, really blessed to have him as a coach. And then as far as just like straight up memories from high school, I mean, my sophomore year, we won every year, we won the state title. But my sophomore year, we had a team that was, I mean, we were obviously good enough to win a state title, but we were not a great team. We weren't a great team of individuals. So we had, there's 14 weights, maybe 13 weights back then, I don't even remember. But we had 3 wrestlers qualify for the state tournament on that team. And, we made our state tournament run. We ended up beating Pulaski in the team sectional, who beat us earlier in the year, 40 something to teens or 40 something to 20s. We ended up, obviously, you probably remember, we wrestled you guys, I think, in the state finals or the state semifinals. You had beaten us earlier in the year. You guys had, I think, like 5 guys that were in the state finals, 4 champs. We're sitting over here with 3 guys that qualified, and just through pure like team effort, not getting pinned, getting the major when we needed to get, those little points, those kinds of things allowed that team to be successful. And those are the memories that are really, really like fun to look back on. As we had some teams that did really well, won titles by a significant margin, but that's in my mind not the fun stuff, right? Everybody wants the team that is going to easily win a state title, but when you're trying to figure out if you're going to win 40-10 or 50-3, that's not that exciting for anybody. So for sure, the best memories are looking back at some of those duels like that, where it was like, wow, I don't know if we're going to win this, and everybody's got to pull together and do it. And when you actually pull it off, it's even more exciting. So